We here at Mayhem Media
understand the trials and tribulations of life.
No matter how hard life can get.
Suicide is never the answer.
There's more assistance available today than ever before.
If you or a loved one are suffering from suicidal thoughts, please don't try and take it on alone.
Call or text 988 if you live in the United States.
Or if you're in Great Britain, call 116123 or text 85258.
The world is a better place with you in it.
Yep. And we'll be taking care of some of these technical issues that we have with our intro and outro this August. So we'll be taking care of that. However, welcome to Mayhemtainment 52. We're going to talk some Transformers. And I am joined by the host of Into the Barricade, The Last Outlaw, Jesse James, and co-host of the Nice Guy Andy podcast, Superfly, Johnny Lee. And I want to say, Superfly Johnny Lee, you have officially joined the list of people who jam out to Marcus Fredrickson's music during the intro. Which is the problem. I clicked the closing credits, not the opening credits. That's why it at the top there. So like I said, but you joined the list of people who rock out to Marcus Fredrickson's music. You can find his music on ReverbNation.com/Marcus Fredrickson. Share out your favorite song and tag us in the post. We really would like to hear from some of his some new fans, get him some new fans, and find out what your favorite song is. And of course, let's just talk about the storefront real quick and get that plug out of the way. Check out the storefront, bonfire.com/store/Mayhem Media Shop. Pick yourself up some Into the Barricade apparel, some Connor Clarkson apparel, some Jesse James apparel, some the Mayhem Media Cowboys popular. So the new duffel bag, pick some of that stuff up. It's great products. And if you have any problems with the products, don't just hit up Bonfire, but please make sure you let me know as well. And then, of course, the website is still going, mayhemmediaproductions.com. Go there, check out. We have a lot of our episodes on there. We'll be adding more of our episodes and maybe even some other additional written content, some other things here in time. So that's the goal. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. Transformers. I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of the cartoons, of a couple of the different cartoons, and I'm a fan of some of the movies. So let's start with what are you guys like? Are you guys more cartoons, more movies? Do you also like both? Superfly, let's let you start since you're a new guest.
Well, I like the cartoons more than I do the movies, but I will say I did appreciate that first live action movie and a bit of that second live action movie. Just not the third movie. That one takes the cake.
We are absolutely going to talk about the third movie in just a few moments, because I also happen to think that that's the worst one of it. Justin, what about you? Yeah, I'm going to tear it apart. I'm going to take a solid few minutes and I'm going to tear it apart. Yeah, I am. All right. You guys don't have to participate, and I'll eviscerate it in 3 minutes. Give me 3 minutes.
Did you say 3 minutes?
So are you a fan, Jesse, of the movies and the cartoon, or just one or the other?
I'll take it one step further. I was also a giant fan of the action figures.
Oh, me too.
That was a giant part of my childhood for the same reason Ninja Turtles was.
Absolutely. Definitely Transformers. Although I wasn't the biggest Transformers fan.
That's
Because I
fair.
couldn't do the machine stuff. I couldn't do.
That was my problem. My brother had to transform them for me.
Yeah. Same with
take
me.
it.
Same with me. My brother had to transform them for me. Yeah. So
Yes.
And they didn't make it easy to transform them.
No,
Not at
they
all.
did not. God.
no, they
You
did not.
Kids today will never know how rough it was in the late 80s, early 90s. We didn't have tutorials for nothing. We just had to guess.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. Those Transformers. Yeah. Just just the worst to try and transform. Yeah, you needed to be a mechanical engineer to transform those things.
exactly.
It's kind of funny that most of the people I know that could, that's pretty much what they do is some sort of engineering jobs.
Yeah,
They're all
absolutely.
smart as hell.
Johnny Lee, you were going to say something?
Especially with Optimus Prime, you wanted to transform to some bitch, but it was so hard that you want to throw it across the room after you got done.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but I could never keep a hold of the trailer because it was never part of the transformation. It was just the cab that was always the transformer. So even if you got the trailer, you'd put it to the side when he transformed, and then you'd never grab it again. And then before you know it was gone.
Get it?
All right, so let's talk about the cartoon. Yeah, let's do this visual real quick. I made a few visuals for us. And if there's if people are watching, please get involved in the comments, share it out. And if you'd like, I left a comment from the page. If you wanted to join us, if you have a mic, then you may join us. So click the link, come in the studio, and join us for a chat. So the 1984 Transformers cartoon. What do you guys' thoughts on that? I was a huge fan. I loved it.
I loved it very much.
Yeah.
You can't beat it.
No. I mean, I rewatched it a little bit as an adult, and there are some episodes that are a little bit long and tedious. I'm not a kid. It's not just the cartoon doesn't just keep my attention anymore, but I will still put it on from time to time.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I appreciate the 1984 cartoon because it gave us a culture of Transformers for years upon years.
Oh, that's one of the longest running cartoon
absolutely.
series.
It is.
That went forever. Yeah, that started in 1984, and that went well into the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. And then the next iteration of it wasn't it just if I can't be sure about this, somebody may fact check me if you want, but I thought the next iteration of it was like a continuation from the 1984 cartoon.
That was always, I guess, as a kid, I never confirmed the theory, but that was always what I had heard too.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
Yeah, see, so just like the Power Rangers, kind of, even though it was different shows, it was just a continuation of the story. So, which is also pretty cool. All right, what about the movies? We'll go back to that in a minute. Let's talk about the movies before we get to any favorite Transformer. What's your favorite movie? Jesse James, let's let you go first.
Numero uno. That movie, I remember going to watch it in theaters, expecting it to suck. Like, I know they are going to ruin this somehow, so I'm going into it with low expectations and walking out in the parking lot like, oh my God, this movie was amazing. I'm pretty sure I saw it in theaters multiple, like 4 or 5 times.
Wow, yeah. I don't think I went to see it that many times, but yeah. And I also, Johnny Lee, what's your favorite one? And then we'll discuss it.
I have to go with the first one too because it set the tone. It set what you were to expect before it would go downhill. It made sure that you knew this is Transformers. It brought back the original fucking Optimus Prime's voice. That right there is what sold me.
I agree with that completely. I think getting Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, I think that's what really saved the movie and had a lot of people who maybe didn't know about it. Like Jesse James was thinking, how are they going to make it suck? When they got the original Optimus Prime, I thought to myself, maybe this might not be terrible because, getting the original Optimus is certainly a step in the right direction. So, but I'm going to disagree with both of you. I did like the first movie, but I love the second one. I think the second one is the best one of all of them, to be quite honest. I love that we I love the Transformers that we got. I love that they expanded the roster because we only got a small roster in the first one.
Yeah.
So I love that we got the right Devastator in the second one and not that rip-off stupid construction truck from the first one. So I really love the second one for many different reasons. And the cast alone also, the cast was just superb. So I'm a huge fan of the second one. And a lot of people, I want to ask you guys about this. The Transformers mythology in the second one, the original 9 primes and all that. How do you guys, and the Transformer, the Autobot afterlife, if you will, some people that I talked to, some of my friends and stuff, really didn't care for that part of it. I thought it was perfect. I thought it added more to the movies, more to the lore. What do you guys think about that, about exploring the Transformers mythology?
I like it. It expands the universe and gives us a little bit more insight into the lore behind it.
I love the idea. My thing when it first happened was this always part of it, and I just never noticed it as a kid growing up?
Me too. I thought the same thing because I don't remember much of that in the cartoons. I guess in the comics and stuff, they really do explore some of that. We'll give Jacob the Wolfman a shout out. He left us a comment. He's Mayhem Media's researcher. So, and of course, he co-hosts our prediction show with the one and only Connor Clarkson, who will also give a shout out because he's just been killing it lately. He is turning into a true grinder, just like myself, and I could not be prouder. Back to the movie. The second one was for me. I love the mythology of it. I that's what I really liked about it. The third, now let's talk about the third one because I think we were talking before the show started. I think we all universally agree that the third one is the worst of all of the Transformers across the board. Does anybody want to talk about why they don't like it, or do you just want to let me eviscerate it?
Go.
Brother,
Go ahead, Johnny.
give us a good rant on why this movie is so bad to the Transformers legacy. It is nothing like the first two. And out of all of them, it's the one that when you think about Transformers, you're not going to be thinking about the third movie. You're going to be thinking to yourself, who greenlit this? Who was the one behind it? Who decided that they were going to put this on film? Floor is all yours now.
Jesse, do you want to chime in before I go, or you're good?
I mean, my only takeaway from this is the reason I picked the first one, I went into it with low expectations, was like, hell yeah, at the end of it. The second one, I went into it with high expectations and went into it like, hell yeah. The third one, I went into it with really high anticipation, and I could have burned that place to the ground. Take it away.
And now I will. And now I will let everybody know why Johnny Lee and Jesse James didn't like the third one, even if they don't know why they didn't like the third one, because they messed up so much Transformers lore in the third one. It was reprehensible. It was just disgusting. Okay. And let's just start right at the top. Numero uno, number one, Shockwave. Shockwave is in the hierarchy of the Transformers the same rank as Megatron in the hierarchy. Now, when he arrives at Earth, he does and has served under Megatron, okay? But Shockwave in the hierarchy has always been the same rank and even higher ranked than Megatron. So, and he's also logically, he's a Transformer, he's a robot who thinks about logic. That's what rules his motives. That's what rules, and that's what governs Shockwave, was logic. That's always his story, is that. And when he loses it, that's what makes him an unbelievable supervillain. Because when he's just Shockwave, he's very tough villain, but he is defeatable. But when he loses it, he becomes almost undefeatable because he uses emotion and he's so powerful. But when he's governed by logic, he's one of the best villains in Transformers lore to rival Megatron. In this movie, he was treated as just this world killer, okay, which is just complete nonsense. He didn't have any kind of personality at all because he was just spent the whole time just destroying shit. So they completely destroyed Shockwave. That's number one, okay? Number two, they destroyed Sentinel Prime. In my opinion, Shockwave and Sentinel Prime, in terms of the impact they had on the movie, should have been reversed. Shockwave is the one that should have been. That's right out of the comics. Shockwave executing Autobots and displaying their corpses is right out of the comics. That is Shockwave's role, not Sentinel Prime's role. Sentinel Prime doesn't turn on the Autobots. Even the one time he does, it's because he thinks it's the only way. Again, Sentinel Prime, another person who's usually governed by logic. So they completely messed up the brand new Transformers, the top two, the epitome of what this movie was going to be about. When you completely destroy the backstory and what motivates them and what makes them their characters, then nobody cares. That's why I didn't care. As soon as I realized that, as soon as I saw the turn with Sentinel Prime, I said, no. And then when I saw that Shockwave was going to have almost no effect whatsoever, I was like, that's just, what a waste. You just wasted two of the biggest Transformers in all of lore, and you just reduced them to just garbage. You know, now you can't undo that either. You did it in such a way that you can't even undo it. So that's why the third one is the worst of them all, because they went so far off of the original lore that there's no explanation for it. Because the first two do go off the comics and cartoon a little bit, maybe not as much. You know, they're not as strict adherence to it. They do create their own universe, but going completely away from everything, I think, was just the wrong opinion.
That's right.
Rant over.
Yeah, it's like they went out of their way in the second one to make it known, like, hey, there's actual lore here that you should know about and you should pay attention to. And then they went out of their way in the third one to be like, oh, by the way, ignore that we just taught you in the second one.
That's right. The third one basically said, oh yeah, we're gonna piss on that. You don't have to watch
Right, never mind.
Yep. Oh, you need to know what this is. We're building lore now, so you need to know a little bit about the history of Transformers. But when we make the next one, though, you can just ignore all of it.
Right.
So
then it's just like with the third one, they're like, oh, you thought that we were gonna stay true to the comics and the cartoons? Hell no, you don't need that second movie lore. We're just gonna piss all over that. We're gonna make our own version of these characters.
Yep.
Imagine if in Back to the Future 3 suddenly they found out you didn't need to go 88, you only needed to go 55 in the DeLorean. I'd be pissed.
That would pretty much cripple a lot of things from the first couple movies there. Yeah.
Right?
So yeah. Now I don't have a visual for this one, but did either of you guys have a favorite movie of the second trilogy of Extinction, or whether it was Bumblebee, Age of Extinction, The Last Night, any of those tickle your fancy a little bit? I was a little bit of the fan of the Extinction and The Last Night. I kind of like, because they bring in the other cartoons, the other mythology and lore from the Transformers. We get the Beasts, we get Dinobots. Yeah, like, I mean, that was big, and I think that's what reattracted people to the series again, was doing that. Plus, we get Galvatron in one of those movies, and what, you know, and I mean, that's another villain. That's another great villain. So it's a Scourge in one of the movies. I mean, these are all classic villains who have their place in these lores. So I like that they kind of open the universe. But again, you create the third one. The third one sticks out like a sore thumb. That's the problem with it. It's the only movie that completely ignores everything about the origins of everything.
That's right.
And I feel like it's a universally agreed upon thing that's the one that if we could get rid of it, that's the one everybody would get rid of. Yeah.
Right.
I had a feeling Michael Bay should have stopped after the second one. He looked to be getting tired, like he didn't really care. And I think honestly, the third one shows. I
don't think it was just Michael Bay either. Like a lot of the actors just seem like they're checked out and over it in the third one too.
Yep.
Like they don't seem like they're. The first one, it's like you forget that's Shia LaBeouf. That's not Sam Witwicky. Whereby the third one, it's like, okay, Shia, let's go.
And the
like,
other
come
thing
on, get it together.
The other thing you did that's ruined the third one was replacing Megan Fox. I think the whole speech that this new character who we've never met before giving this speech to Megatron, that would have meant a lot more. That was Megan Fox's speech.
Yeah,
That was not that character speech. That was Megan Fox's speech. So
another thing
go ahead, Johnny.
that movie. Because you had this whole thing where you built up this character from movie 1 to 2, and then for the third movie, you said, "Oh, fuck it, we're going to scrap her completely and bring in this new character just because we don't like Megan Fox now."
Absolutely, yeah. Because that whole speech, when I saw it, I said, "Who?" I actually sided with Megatron. I was like, "Who the hell is she talking to Megatron like that?" She's an insect.
Megatron liked.
Like, I immediately was a Megatron fan. Like,
who do you think you are?
I was like, what are you doing, Megatron? Get your cannon out and blast this woman. Who is this woman talking to you like that? You're Megatron. Don't let her talk to you like that. Squash her, go kick everyone's ass and show everyone who you are.
If I was Megatron in that moment, this bitch was trying to give me a damn monologue, I would have been looking at her like, who the hell do you think you are? And crush her. Because that's all it takes is to crush that puny ass human that's trying to run her mouth. I don't know you. This is my first time actually meeting you. Why are you trying to act like we've known each other for years?
Yeah, why are you trying to act like we've done 2 other movies together?
Exactly. She was basically just a little stand-in that they pushed in because they got rid of Megan Fox's character.
Yeah, who are you? You're not.
I mean, replacing Megan Fox in general was a bad idea.
It was. Because we went through 2 movies establishing these characters, and now you have to suddenly ignore that he was with her the entire time. Now you're going to just act like he's been with this girl this time?
Yeah. I agree with you, Johnny, on that point. That also, I completely agree. I'm sorry, I'm crying because I'm laughing so hard. I also want to point out that it's 102 degrees in Pennsylvania right now, so I have beads of sweat running down my face as well.
That's all right. We're hot too.
Yeah, I want to point out though that oh shoot, what was I going to say? It was about Megan Fox. Anyway, yeah, move on. So we'll Megan Fox, replacing Megan Fox. Yeah, that was completely the wrong thing to do. Just because she wouldn't sleep with Michael Bay is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, who wants to sleep with Michael Bay?
Exactly. And also, that's one I dreaded the third movie. Heard that.
Go ahead, Johnny Lee, say that again.
As soon as I heard that Megan Fox was going to be some movie, I dreaded the third movie. I already knew somehow, some way, the third movie was going to fuck up everything. And when I sat down to watch it, that first time when they tried to act like Megan Fox's character didn't exist, I was thinking to myself, you got to be kidding me. What have I been watching this whole time? And I just stopped. For a while there, I was like, I ain't going to give another Transformers movie a chance. I went in there for the 4th movie and I checked it out. And the other movie. Magic's not there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And if I can say that Megan Fox was definitely essential to Key. And it also messed up Sam Witwicky's character. That's what I wanted to say. Is that it really, that you know what I mean? That breakup and even the way he handled it, like you said, Johnny Lee, in the movie, the way they kind of they didn't even mention it. They just were like, oh, the girl I used to be with, the breakup. Like they didn't even acknowledge her character there. And I think that made him look like, I think that did not make Sam come off looking good. I know they tried to portray it like she dumped him or whatever. Of course, no one's buying that at all. So
second movie.
Yeah, I mean, after the second movie, the whole I love you thing between those two. Come on. No.
And suddenly she's, oh, you know how I told you I love you? Well, guess what, buddy boy? We're breaking up right now.
Yeah. And then Sam is just now arm candy for some rich girl. Like, what is that? All right. So that's all the reasons that number 3 is bad. I think Age of Extinction, Mark Wahlberg coming in as Cade Yeager. I wasn't a fan of Cade Yeager. What I liked, though, is, again, and this is one of those things where a future movie builds value to a previous movie. I think the last night, the 5th one. I think that really having Cade Yeager in that movie and also bringing back, I can't remember his name, but from the first 2 movies, the military guy from the first two movies. They brought him back.
Tyrese?
What? No, not Tyrese. The commander, the colonel.
Yeah. I can see his friggin' face too.
Yeah. I can see his face, but I really can't think of his name. But when they brought him back, that's what I think gave the fifth one more value too, was that they started bringing it full circle, like the whole universe, bringing it full circle and trying to bring it back to normal. That I thought is what gave number 5 a lot more value.
That's right.
Agreed.
All right, then let's talk a little bit about our favorite Transformers, and then we'll see if anybody doesn't look like anybody's leaving any comments yet. But let's talk about our favorite Transformers. Do you have a favorite Autobot? Super Johnny Lee, let's go with you first.
Optimus Prime. You can't go wrong with him.
Yep, of course. Yeah. Jesse?
Well, obviously Optimus Prime because he's a badass. But I also always had a soft spot for Bumblebee because that was the only one I could get to transform on my own.
Nice.
It's the simplest one too.
Oh yeah, that was a half a star for babies.
Yeah. I was not the biggest Bumblebee fan in the cartoons, but I liked how they made him have his voice through the radio in the movie.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was kind of a cool, unique thing for him. So I did like that.
It added character.
My favorite character, for Autobot, Optimus Prime is Optimus Prime, of course, but I'm going to go with Ironhide, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ironhide. Actually, I like his. He's the weapons specialist. He's concerned about security. So yeah, Ironhide's my favorite. What about favorite Decepticons? Look at that picture right there. Just look at it for a minute. Yeah, I know it is sick. I did not make this, guys. I did not make the favorite Autobot. I did not make the favorite Decepticon. I manipulated a little bit to make it a little bit crisper, and I added the lettering. I did not make the visuals, so please don't think that I did. Johnny Lee, what's your favorite Decepticon?
I love Metatron.
Of course, Megatron. Yep.
Great guy.
Jesse James.
Great guy. Starscream.
Asshole.
Again, you know what? That comes down to the Thanos argument, though. Isn't
Right.
hero or villain? Isn't that just a matter of perspective?
That's right.
Jesse James, what's your favorite Decepticon?
Starscream.
Oh man,
Nice.
Starscream. Of course, yeah. The thing I like most about Starscream is how Megatron always would yell for Starscream.
Exactly. When shit needed to be handled, Starscream got called in.
Yeah. And of course, Starscream got to actually shoot Megatron when Megatron turned into a gun for a little while. Megatron turned into a lot of different things through the cartoon series, not just the 1984 cartoon series, but through all of the series. He does the same thing in the movies.
The robots in disguise, man.
Yeah, he can be a tank, he can be a jet, and there always seem to be Cybertron style artillery and weaponry and stuff like that. So my favorite Decepticon, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm going with Shockwave. Even though they get him dirty in the movies, I gotta go with Shockwave. He was always my favorite because he was always the most powerful.
Honestly,
Yeah, Shockwave's pretty dope.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I like what they did with Shockwave. That was disrespectful and very. Damn, they did him dirty.
Yeah.
Hashtag justice for Shockwave.
Yeah, justice
Right.
for Shockwave,
Justice
exactly.
Shockwave.
Yeah, absolutely. They did him dirty, but in the cartoons, I was always a fan of Shockwave. So, and I would have to pick as a secondary, like a second person. I'm going to go with Devastator. I was always a fan of the big, gigantic Transformers that had multiple Transformers come together to make a bigger one. So that was always pretty cool to me.
Yep.
What about I don't have a visual for it, but do you guys have a favorite of the other like the Beast Wars? Do you guys have a favorite in the Beast Wars at all, or the Dinobots or anything? The Dinobots really didn't have a super run in the cartoons or in the movies. But what about the Beasts? Do you guys have a favorite Beast, or is it just Optimus Primal?
I never really watched the Beast Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Johnny-
I didn't watch it either.
Oh, okay. Well, then, all right. Maybe I'm the only one that's actually seen it. So, and
Very cool.
Well, now I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to check out this Beast Wars.
Yeah, and Optimus Primal, of course, just like Optimus Prime, but as a secondary character, I think I'd probably pick Rhinox. I liked him. He was the big heavy hitter. So something for you guys to see if you two to see if you guys check it out, you guys can see who they are.
Yeah, I'm definitely
And,
going
For sure.
and we'll give a shout out to Cheetor as well, because of course he's a big part of the cartoon series.
God, the names alone make me feel I could have faked this. Like Hawksmax.
Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Rhino.
Right.
I can't remember the flying one off the top of my head. I apologize.
Paradox.
No,
I don't know. It sounded good.
I do know it was a female. So
Miss Pterodax.
Isn't that interesting? The that they had when we found out there were female Transformers, because really most 90% of the Transformers we ever encountered were always male.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
I like that they had female Transformers because that adds layers to them.
Yeah,
We could have Transformer babies.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I don't know.
We
I think they procreate differently than that, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying in the first movie they were concerned about Energon and their younglings dying, or in the second movie.
I heard they like to run an assembly line on each other.
They'll say
yeah.
Anakin will come around and want to kill them all.
Oh man, this is great. One little fun fact for everybody before we get ready to close out, as Jesse James starts to lose it. Did you guys know that the original Transformers was done by Marvel and takes place in the same universe as as Marvel? They, in fact, the Transformers crash land in the Savage Land.
Just like how TMT also takes place in the Marvel universe, because Daredevil's ooze that it gave him also gave them their growth.
I actually did not know that, so
Yes.
I learned something
The
new.
ooze that blinds Matt Murdock is the same ooze that makes the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mutate, and it's canon in both comics.
Yep.
I will definitely check some into that because so go.
Well, now we know Superfly Johnny Lee got to be on the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mayhemtainment episode.
Yep.
Right.
We definitely got to do that. I think they are making the Last Ronin. I think.
All for that.
We did talk about that. Do an episode on that, but we can definitely do another one either way when it comes out or right after it comes out. So at least after it comes out, because I want to talk about that too. I'm excited.
It's so good. That comic is one of the best comics I ever read.
Yeah. Real quick, little TMNT thing. Johnny Lee, what's your thoughts on Michelangelo being the Last Ronin?
I think that it is superb, because everyone always thinks that it's either going to be a Leonardo or a Raphael or Donatello, but no one suspected that the Last Ronin was going to be the funny one. No one thought that he could be serious, and he takes all their weapons. Just chef's kiss how they did it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesse James, do you agree with that? You think Michelangelo?
I couldn't have put it any better. Nobody expected it to be the Joker, the little brother, the prankster of the group. What better character development and character arc for a series than being the little brother who always had to get drugged behind to being the one carrying your brother's legacy to the end?
Absolutely.
And I just gave myself goosebumps.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree. At first, I like Johnny Lee said, I was shocked that it was Michelangelo.
I was too.
He would have been the fourth pick if you gave me 4 picks. He might have even
Maybe
been
number 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I might
pick Casey.
I might even choose Casey Jones or Spencer even. So yeah, but then after I thought about it, I was like, really, it is the best. It is the best choice. The Joker of the group. He has to overcome all of it. He's losing his brothers, becoming the serious one, dropping the youngster Joker kind, having to learn, and having
not having a choice.
Yeah, not having a choice, not having anybody else to lean on either, doing it all on his own, becoming proficient in his brother's weapons so that he can carry them into battle. I think it probably was and after I thought about it, I was like, this is the best choice by far. Michelangelo is absolutely the right choice for this because it's definitely the best character growth. Leonardo would be the same old leader, or at the very, maybe be a Batman style where he's a Dark Knight.
Yeah.
If I will, Raphael, we've seen how he goes in other iterations of Turtles, where he might be the only one out there fighting crime. He's been the only one out there before, so we've seen him. He fights with vengeance. Donatello's always been a tech guy. I never really expected him to ever be a solo guy. So, and I don't know how a Donatello storyline would progress. Nor do I think, I don't know, maybe you guys want to weigh in on this. Do I think Donatello would have been a good choice for the last Ronin? I don't think he would have had the same character growth that Michelangelo is able.
I actually thought it was Donatello for most of the time. For that simple reason is nobody would have expected it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like reading it the entire time, I thought it was, like right from the bat, I thought it was Donatello.
I mean, it did give away that may have looked like Donatello, but the true genius of it all was that you expected him, but you did not expect the funny one to be the one that was carrying that bow staff or those movements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that he's proficient in everybody's weapons, wouldn't that have made Michelangelo the best of the four?
And yeah, at the end, but see, he doesn't become the best of the four without losing his brothers.
That's true.
The chicken and egg.
That.
Yeah, the chicken and egg.
That's what makes it so masterful, because when you read the first word, I wish I could go back and read The Last Ronin when it first came out, because
absolutely. I rewatched the first Turtles. I rewatched the first Turtles movie with that same desire. Like, I wish I could watch it like it was the first time.
God, the originals in the early 90s.
Oh yeah, that's the epitome. That's there is no better movie. The cartoon TMNT maybe was a close
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was good, but nothing beat
right there inside the first movie. You can't go.
Yeah, the first one was definitely the bar, and they cast it perfectly. I mean, I didn't even like that they recast April O'Neil in the second one. But now we're talking. Yeah, exactly. But now we're talking about Turtles in a Transformers episode. So let's just close this out and save more conversation for when we do a Turtles episode, and then we'll give more discussion into that.
I actually had brought up the Turtles for a reason. The reason Transformers is still as successful today is for the same reason that the Ninja Turtles was. Yes. There's someone for everybody to get on board with, whether you like airplanes, or you like semis, or you like cars, or you like toasters, or you like whatever. There's a Transformer for you.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Between the Decepticons or the Autobots, there's a character, a car, a vehicle, a tank for you.
There's something out there you can get behind.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jesse, that's also why the same reason, and this might be something we brush on in our nostalgia episode. Johnny Lee, you're invited to that, by the way. We're going to talk about 90s nostalgia. With Power Rangers as well. The diversity of the characters and being able to find a character no matter who you are, finding a character that you can relate to or side with. So I think that's why all those things hold up over time and have the longevity that they do. Check out the Nice Guy Andy podcast, Superfly Johnny Lee, and make sure you tell him Mayhem Media sent you. And also go check out, we'll give Calamity Jane a shout out. Go check out Calamity Jane. What is it? Late night thing with Calamity Jane, right?
Thing with Calamity Jane.
Yep. So she had me on as a guest. I'd like to come on again. Johnny Lee is going to have me on a guest sometime soon on their podcast, and we're going to have him on some more episodes as well. And we're also going to invite you on one of our either our Into the Barricades or our prediction shows if you would like to come on one of them as well.
Good.
So yeah, we are going to keep this going. Jesse James, of course, is the founder and co-host of Into the Barricade, and he does that show with Connor Clarkson, who has just been killing it lately. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but
shout out to Connor.
Yeah, he's just been killing it lately. So we got to give him a shout out. And I mean, yeah, he's just been tearing it up. So shout out to him. Check out Into the Barricade. That's every week. They've been releasing on Mondays now. Is that going to be pretty much the standard? They're either on Sundays or on Mondays, but I think Monday might be the new standard for.
Yeah, we're thinking Mondays might be the new standard since we're trying to keep it under the 20-minute mark. Let you review the week that was before the new week starts again in a short little. Here's Monday, here's Friday, here's what happened over the weekend, and we're going to start adding AEW in there too, since it seems to be requested.
Yes, this fall we'll be adding AEW. I'll be joining the show not as a co-host, just as an analyst that they're going to bring on when they go to AEW, but they're still going to be talking about WWE. They're just adding AEW as well.
For our show, we started out having AEW on inside background while we were live, and we would mention it every now and then. But here lately, AEW just been carrying the same old storyline, and that's kind of turning fans away. And I'm just like, guys, you got to pivot.
And that's the issue we're having with WWE, is it's like they're just retreading that same storyline.
We're gonna save it. So let's save it for when we start adding AEW, or maybe even before that. Justin. Maybe we do like a Mayhemtainment feat, like Into the Barricade episode, Mayhemtainment Into the Barricade episode, before we actually get into the AEW.
Yeah, it's like a pro wrestling special, not necessarily a company.
And just discuss WWE and AEW together before we start doing it week to week. I would push back a little bit on that, Johnny Lee. I would push back a little bit on that, but I'm going to save it for the episode. Otherwise, we're 45 minutes. Otherwise, and that's a 30-minute. We're going to go for 20 or 30 minutes talking about AEW. So let's just save that and plan that for when we're going to be getting ready to do the AEW coverage with Into the Barricade. So you're going to see the same credits rolling out as you saw rolling in, because on the way in, I hit the closing credits. So you're going to just watch them again because I'm going to do it the right way this time. So Jesse James, Superfly, Johnny Lee, and I am your host, JD. And that's the end.